Yo, what's going on, DZ team? It's Z here. Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to give you guys the top 10 tips that I believe you should take as a beginner in the firearms community or starting your journey in general. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, real quick, a little bit about me if you're new here. My name is Zamora. I'm the founder and lead instructor at Dropzone Tactical based in Kyle, Texas. So if you want to come take classes with us, you can do so. I have a prior military background, do private security, contracting as well, on top of doing my firearms instructor stuff. So let's get started with our top 10 tips. So the first one I have for you guys is to find your purpose. So why is purpose important? Is because that will determine what kind of firearm for you to get as we start going down these tips. If you want to do something for hunting, you're not going to get a shotgun to go hunt deer. It just doesn't make sense. You're not going to use a handgun to go hunt big game, right? So what's your purpose? Is it for self-defense? Do you want to do 3-gun shooting? Do you want to go do a rifle course? Do you want to go hunt? Whatever your context is, do your research first and ask yourself, why do you want a firearm first? That's typically what I ask people when they come to me. So first one is know your reason why, okay? Second one, depending on what you do, research that topic in a YouTube URL, just kind of like you did in this video as you saw it. Research the top 5 whatever, and then your why in there. Top 5 firearms for self-defense, top 5 firearms for hunting, top 5 firearms for 3-gun shooting, whatever the case may be. Do some research, look at what people are using, because that'll give you a good foundation and baseline to see where the repetitions and patterns are coming in based off what other people recommend, and that'll start you off at least somewhere rather than running into the field not knowing what you're going to get or what to look for or what good route to take. So tip number 3 is to buy a firearm. You need to buy a gun to be able to use it for any of these things, right? So buy a firearm based off the research that you did and your reasons why. Go to the gun counter, go to a dealer and start feeling around for handguns. Start saying how they feel. Do they feel good in your hand? Is it too big? Is it too little? And kind of play around with that stuff. Though there is a caveat, depending on what you're doing and how experienced you are, you might want to learn how to hold a pistol grip or pistol properly or a rifle properly before you start going and trying to handle firearms, because if you're holding it improper or whatever, you can make the gun uncomfortable to hold, let alone if you start to learn how to properly grip it. When you start presenting and stuff, you'll start to understand it a little bit more and know how it should feel when you hold it properly, and then cater to see if it's comfortable or uncomfortable holding it properly. So kind of keep that in mind. So tip number 4 is buy good and high quality equipment. When you start looking at this stuff, you're going to be like, ooh, it's a little pricey, I just bought a gun. Here's the rule of thumb that I say, is buy once, cry once. Because if you're gonna buy cheap gear, you're gonna buy it over and over and over, because something's gonna go wrong, it's gonna break, or whatever the case may be, and it's not gonna be in your favor. And it also can cause safety hazards. There was a time where I had a fabric holster getting into the gun community. I was running and doing a drill, and then my firearm, while it was locked in, flew out and slammed on the ground. And I wasn't even running too crazy, but just running in general, right? And that's a general body maneuver that you might need for a self-protection aspect to run, right? So if my gun's flying out of my holster doing that, it's not good that I can't retain it. The holster itself can't retain it. So if you're getting a handgun, get a holster that is married to that gun, a Kydex holster that has some good retention on it. Look at some reviews. Look at the company, how many people are buying it. Again, more research, right? But buy once, cry once. You won't have to spend more money in the long run if you buy high quality up front. So keep that in mind. Okay, tip number 5. And tip number 5 is to go and get training. Now I know you're saying, oh, now I need to make time, I need to pay more money to go and do that. Here's why I say go and get training, right? Is because think about it when you drive a car. You need to go out there and practice with the vehicle before you can just get out on the streets and start whipping it with one hand and going home thoughtless and not even remembering how you got home because you're just doing it by second nature. For the most part, that's how it should be with a firearm, right? You should be able to handle it in a way where all this stuff becomes second nature. Again, depending on your purpose, you might not have a class. There's not a hunting class where they show you how to hunt a deer, essentially, like where you go out and you're doing tactics for it or whatever. There are hunting classes to learn where to shoot, what a 4-point deer is and all that stuff, and kind of how to clean it. But there's not necessarily something as far as like, okay, well, we're gonna use a bolt action and go boom, and we're gonna load it like this. It's not gonna tell you that. So go and get classes catered to what you want, so you can get the one, safety, which is very important, so we can minimize accidents, deaths, injuries that we don't need. And then 2, it gets you familiar with your firearm. You get to use it at a range with practical application, and they can put you through kind of quote unquote the ringer of what you're going through, so you can see what equipment works with you, what equipment doesn't. Maybe I should move my holster to one side or the other. It'll start to vet your equipment and the stuff that you have placed where, and then you can make adjustments that way, on top of learning valuable competence, skills, and knowledge necessary to be able to use your firearm for whatever context you are to use it for. So there's that. Tip number 6 is to dry fire at least 4 times a week. Now, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that way you have 3 other days off to do whatever it is you want. And by dry fire, look up some drills. You can literally just even drill out of your holster, get in your holster, and just present out. And just get this mind-muscle connection down. And if you have a training gun, cool, you can even put your finger on the trigger and start pressing, because I got a little laser here, right? And you can just print out some paper targets, aim, and start shooting at your targets. I don't have a holster on me right now, but you know, dry fire practice. Sometimes you don't even need a holster. Just come from compressed ready, come out. Compressed ready, come out. Just gaining that sight alignment, sight picture to make it second nature, like we just talked about in your training. So you can do this with rifles. Just make sure you do it in a safe manner with no live ammo nearby. Training firearms is your best option for the maximum safety. So tip number 7. This one's gonna be a little bit interesting, but it's to find your people, right? You obviously got into the gun community and started looking at this video for some reason, and somebody else is in your shoes, right? Somebody is prior military who does private security as well and could be a firearms instructor doing what I do right now. Those are like-minded people, and those are the people that you want to surround yourself with, is like-minded people, because the same reason you got into the gun community, they did, and you guys can support each other, ask each other questions, and kind of build that network around you. Because also, if something goes bump in the night, you have people to call, right? You have people to be like, hey, have you tried this gun? What gun are you using? What training classes did you take? What instructor do you recommend? You know, and you can have that volley of questions back and forth, creating your own little ecosystem. So that'll be a great way for you to stick with it, for 1, and 2, make it fun. All right, tip number 8 is to get comfortable with your firearm. How do you do that? You need to shoot a lot. Shoot a lot, you get comfortable. So I have a Glock 17, and that's kind of what I carry out on the range a lot. And I've had that firearm for a little over 5 years, and I've taken it to multiple classes. I use it pretty much all the time on the range and stuff like that. And then I also go and just train with it on my own. And for the most part, you get to learn your firearm. Where does it shoot at different ranges? When does it start to reach its breaking point? When do I need to clean it? How does my trigger work? And you get to understand that so much so that it becomes second nature. And when you shoot other guns, you can implement those things into other guns until you understand their trigger, their features, their mechanics. Every gun is built a little bit differently, and so you get to kind of marry whatever gun that you're going to use with your body's biomechanics, creating that muscle memory. So get comfortable with it, go to the range, shoot a lot, because you won't get that relationship unless you take them out on a lot of dates, which is going to the range. Okay, tip number 9 is to try other platforms. Now that you've been shooting, getting training, get your own ecosystem, now it's time to explore other platforms. It's great to shoot your firearm and get comfortable with that and get very familiar with that, but we want to be well-rounded, like a lot of athletes want to be well-rounded athletes. Why? So you can be multifunctional. So you can, when somebody gives you a firearm or says, hey, and you like something, you're like, hey, I want it, can I hold that? Can I shoot it? Can I whatever? And you get interested in it, because by this point you should probably be well versed in it. You're gonna want to shoot at guns. do it. It's fun. And you can experience other calibers. You can shoot other platforms and kind of learn how they operate. You can see some exotic guns and go and play with those and just have a blast doing that. So go play with other platforms. Go test your friends out now that you created that ecosystem, and go and try their guns. See how you like it. Go buy yourself one of them, and then you'll kind of start getting your preferences and now developing that, okay, now I know what guns I like, which ones I don't like, which ones I care for, which ones I don't care for, which ones I can recommend to people, and which ones I won't recommend to people. All right, tip number 10. And 10 here, depending on your context, might vary, but based off what my channel is about, it's about self-protection with firearms and stuff like that. This one's gonna be catered towards that specifically. And this one is to develop a home plan. Now, if you have kids, if you have a wife, or you have a husband, or whatever, this is the time to kind of sit down with your family and be like, hey, if there's an intruder coming here, I want you guys to barricade yourselves in your room or meet up at one spot, and I'm gonna go and do this, you're gonna go do that, and you know, kind of start developing that plan, because what it's going to do is when somebody comes bump in the night, you will have a plan, your family will have a plan, they'll know what to do automatically, and you won't have to worry about the logistics side of that and where's everybody, where's my family, because you should typically know where they are if you develop a plan. Same thing if you have a fire in your house. It doesn't need to be necessarily gun related, but for this firearms tips, that's what I recommend. Develop a plan with your family. And then bonus tip here, if you've stayed it to the end, is tip number 11, test that plan. So have your spouse go to the front door, break in your, quote unquote, break into your house, keep the door unlocked so they can get in, don't lock them out forever, let them come in and pretend that they're a bad guy. What would you do? If you have a gun safe, can you get to your gun safe in time? If you're half coherent, sleeping on the bed in low light conditions. If you have a plan for something else, like you have a fire in your house or whatever, how do you maneuver your family that way, right? And then test it, see if it works. If it doesn't, alter it. Oh, I could probably do this better. You know what? I don't even want a pistol in my room. I would rather have a rifle. You know, play with that context. But that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed these top 10 tips. What did I leave out? What would you guys recommend? Let me know down in the comments. If you like this video, please leave a like. It helps me out a lot. Leave a dislike if you didn't like it, but also let me know down below what I could have done to make it better for you guys. If you want to come take training with us, you can check out our website at dropzonetactical.biz. There are links down below. We also have affiliates with Armageddon Training, so you can go take an online course with them. It's a membership course for them. They have amazing online content, so you can go and do that there. If you want a cert pistol, we have that on our website too. Lots of plugs coming in, but everything that you may need are in the links down below. So again, share with this video with any beginner shooters that you might know, and hopefully you can help them out. If it helped you out and you think it's beneficial, send it to somebody else. Share it on your platform. Somebody will pick it up and want to watch it. And I appreciate you guys. I'll see y'all in the next video.